Hey guys, we interrupt your podcast listening for a special. I don't even know what name for this is going to be. Aaron and Nate talk DC and Marvel also. So comic book stuff, all the stuff that we tend to go on tangents during the normal podcast. We kind of wanted to try and break it out, see what happens with it. We'll come up with a name later. That's Aaron.
Hey, what's up, people?
Obviously, Nate. I introduced myself earlier. Hosting, it's hard. Let's see. I guess before we go into anything, do you want to talk about what you've been watching?
So far, regarding DC stuff, I've been keeping up on Titans lately.
Mm-hmm.
I saw All in Young Justice. I saw a few episodes of Swamp Thing. Kind of fell off that, and I saw all of Doom Patrol.
I thought they canceled Swamp Thing.
They did. That's why I kind of fell off of it. I was just like,
Now, was it one season and they canceled it, or did it like
yeah,
cancel?
one season and they canceled it. I think they canceled it early, if I remember right.
I feel like Swamp Thing works better as like a movie or special. I don't know if it's like it can carry a whole thing.
Well, technically, if you really want to think about it, Swamp Thing can work anywhere within anything of DC because they can't even get their whole cinematic universe structured right on what's going down and what isn't going. So everything is like in their own pocket universe now, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I feel like maybe that's how they should have started. We've said this before. They should have started just figuring their characters out and then like synergizing them.
Yeah, because all of a sudden they're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna work ass backwards to what Marvel's doing. So since Marvel's doing the whole, hey, let's have the Avengers first and let's have everybody branch off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're like, sure.
Let's see Batman into the next Superman movie. Okay, this could be. Why is Batman using guns? Okay, Batman's definitely killing people.
So everyone has said this. What do you guys mean by Batman use a gun? He didn't use a gun. When did he use a gun during that movie?
During that flash forward of when Superman took over the Earth, I guess, and whatnot, and there was like
the Superman army.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Superman army. He was like straight up Desert Storm, leather jacket, just like.
So I mean, the only defense I could have for that scene, because now that you said it, yes, it does. It does look that way.
And then the Batmobile during the chase scene towards the end, he's like literally shredding apart the SUVs with the.
I mean, we played Arkham Knight. The rubber bullets, guys. Rubber bullets.
No, rubber bullets don't shred through an SUV like that. And mind you, the SUV is being torn in half, and there's like multiple pieces all over the road and stuff like that. You don't see any bodies, but presumably you're just like, oh, okay, so they must have got shredded up too. Gotcha.
They're drones?
No, they're not drones. No, we're not going with the whole Arkham Knight thing. They're not drones.
Yeah.
No. Even Zack Snyder, Zack Snyder in an interview is just like, well, my Batman in this universe looks up at the ceiling trying to justify it. Kills people in a... Yeah.
Oh, God. Just, yeah. I mean, there's really no defending that, I guess.
No. This is my problem with DC when it comes to like their cinematic universe. People jump up and they probably read like Dark Knight Returns, Long Halloween, Killing Joke, and it's like, oh, okay, I understand this character. Not really.
No.
If you really want to understand the character, go watch maybe a few seasons of Batman the Animated Series. Go watch Justice League Unlimited. Those are some great representations of who the characters are at their.
Listen, Justice League, the whole, was that Bruce Timm? Is that his,
Yeah.
That whole run of the animated series, and I include Batman, Superman Adventures, Batman standalone animated series, Batman Beyond's in that whole family.
And
All of
it had great cohesion. You're just like, God damn, could we get him and everybody else into the cinematic universe and get some people out?
100%, if they followed that timeline, if they'd given us a younger casting for Batman, a younger casting for Superman, one that would actually build through. Just do your Superman movies like you're always going to do. Do your Batman movies like you're always going to. Acknowledge that Metropolis exists. Acknowledge that Gotham exists. You know what I mean? And then you do the crossover, which is just between Batman and Superman. The way they did that in the animated series.
World's Finest.
That was great.
That was fucking awesome.
I love
that's how you do a Batman Superman team up. I don't like the way you work. You're an alien. I don't like the way you work. But they find common ground within each other, and that's how they push forward. And then you can add Wonder Woman. Just like, who the hell is this chick at the end?
I forget how they introduced her in the animated series.
Oh, that was in Justice League, and it was...
It was literally the first episode of Justice League.
Yeah, and I think that was during... I think Apocalypse was invading or something like that, right? If I remember right.
It was, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but it was some random alien invasion.
Yeah, it was a random
I don't know if it was
invasion,
necessarily.
And then all of a sudden everybody teamed up and we had
it
Wally,
was something,
Flash, which I thought was going to be Barry Flash, and I was like, no, this is what... Okay, I can see. He's the comic relief guy.
Can I tell you right now?
He's what Ezra Miller's trying to be. And
yes, 100%. 100%. So Ezra, I feel bad for Ezra Miller, right? I feel like his take on the Flash probably improved under I'm forgetting the director's name that took over. He directed Avengers, Buffy, Joss Whedon.
Oh yeah, Joss Whedon. Yeah.
Yep. I feel like his Flash got probably better under Joss Whedon's direction during Justice League. But his character didn't fit with everyone else being dark and brooding. Because like even the animated series, when you had Rosenbaum as Flash, as Barry, even when you had him in there,
yeah, he was Wally Flash.
Was he Wally?
Yeah, he was Wally Flash.
Oh, yes, he was Wally Flash.
Because remember when Lex took over his body and took off his mask and whatnot? I was like, I don't even know who this is. and of course he had the Irish hair, so I was like, okay, yep, this is Wally. Not Black Wally, White Wally.
Well, Black Wally was introduced later in the comics, right?
Yeah. Because when they came out with the new 52, it's like, oh, we don't have an African American Flash. Let's take Wally, which is most people's favorite, and it's like, oh, hey, let's make him black, so we get more cultural representation up in here.
Listen. I mean, I've always had issues. Okay, I should have said I have issues before I open the internet can of worms. I have issue when people are like, oh, they only did this because of diversity, for diversity's sake, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, it does take that for it to happen. But is the character good? I don't know, because literally he showed up, and I don't know what we've done with him. They like introduced Black Wally, and then I don't know what else happened with him. Like,
you know what? I'm sorry, Wallace, because they call White Wally Wally, and they call Black Wally Wallace.
Nope.
And they're cousins.
Sign me out. Nope, I'm good. Well,
that's how they fixed up when Rebirth came.
They're cousins?
Yeah, they're cousins.
What do you mean?
White Wally and Black Wally are
cousins. Yeah. How's that happen? Is it like the Flash now, where Wes is black and I'm pretty sure in the comics.
No.
Iris is white.
Iris is white.
Okay. So Iris is white. Also.
And Iris is cousins with Wally.
Yes. With with White Wally.
Yeah, with White Wally.
Yes.
So that must mean that Black Wally's actually not full black. He's biracial, so he's black and white, which he looks more like you're a few, maybe like a shade darker than you. He actually looks a lot like Miles does currently in the
Now
comics.
wait,
Donny Cates.
wasn't there a Daniel? Was it Daniel West? His thing in the.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There was another reverse. Yeah.
Okay. Comics are hard, guys.
Yeah.
Comics are hard.
Mm-hmm.
if you try continuity, it's hard.
Which is kind of funny because that was Black Wally's father that turned evil. Which is kind of funny because if you think about it, African American character that kind of sort of has anger issues, kind of, and a little bit brash, that's learning under a, white pre-established hero that has a family member that's
Are you
not the best role model?
Lad?
That's
Aquaman
not the best role model. Oh, don't get me started on that one. And then all of a sudden you have this character over in Marvel that's African American that's learning under a pre-established white superhero that also has a very close family member that may not rhyme with Towler as a criminal, pretty much. So it's almost like, oh hey, you're just copying off of Miles.
Well, I mean, you know what?
And I'm not the only reason why I'm calling out racist and stuff here, because I want people to realize the juxtaposition between both of those characters. Now, I'm not sure if New 52 and Miles came out at the same time or not, but I think Miles was around before they changed Wally being black. But there's a lot of similarities between both of those two characters.
So Miles got introduced before Black Wally because
let me just look.
I'm pretty sure New 52 has been out for 2-3 years now.
Yeah, 52 started in 2010, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say I should say the last reset.
Miles came out in August of 2011.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's been around longer. Yeah, I feel like he's been out longer. Now, see, look, I understand that every DC.
Oh, okay. First appearance was 2014. So for Black Wally.
Yep. Okay.
So it's 3-year gap.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys ever wanted to look, Miles and Black Wally look a lot alike.
So here's the thing, right? Every DC hero has like a Marvel hero equivalent, vice versa. Like it is what it is. And when it just comes down to who's doing it better. And I mean, I feel like Miles
got seeded in better because Peter died, so it was a natural progression instead of being cultural appropriation.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I can see that. I mean, like I said, I have a hard issue when it comes to like calling it that. I mean, I guess you're right, but
now don't get me wrong. For the little bit of Flash comics that I've been reading lately, I do like Wallace. He's pretty cool and stuff like that, but DC with their continuity and under Dan DiDio, it's almost like the cinematic universe is like there's clearly characters that the DC hierarchy in the editing room do not like.
You mentioned this on the podcast too, that he's not a fan of sidekicks. He likes the main heroes better.
Yeah, he does not like legacy characters.
Now, One thing that I know that DC does well is their side stories.
Mm-hmm.
Is when they go, here, random creator. Well, not random. I'm sure they have a history, but I mean, like,
No.
here, creator. Here's a character that we want you to use. Whatever you want to do with them, it's fine. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get those good animated specials. We get the
Mm-hmm.
good, like was it Batman Year One?
Mm-hmm.
That was good. I mean, I like when DC does that.
Yeah.
Their serialized comics,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, is just money making. You know what I mean? Like it's 52 issues that really should have been like 16 maybe.
Wait. I smell like you're talking about one specific writer in general that's been on Batman for a while that needs to stop.
I just
Wait.
feel like they keep
Wait.
going for no reason.
Wait. 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 Hold on. I'm gonna use my psychic powers. I think you're thinking of somebody's name that starts with a T,
I
ends
don't know
with a
his name.
K. Tom
I don't know his
King.
name, but
Tom.
yeah,
Tom. Yeah.
yeah. It's just and this is why I preferred when I was reading comics to
Mhm.
reading the trades because then I just get the entire story all the way through.
Mhm.
But even the trades, like I think I was looking back at reading through the Teen Titans one.
Mhm.
The Teen Titans trade is a collection of like say issue 1 to issue 12 or something like that.
Mhm.
But even that story probably could have been condensed. Like it's just I understand that they have to do these like here's two issues a month,
Yeah.
but at the same time I don't know. It just I've never been a fan of getting my content that way through comics. I'd
Right.
rather get the complete story all the way through.
Right. I'd rather have the story arc and then wait for the next story arc to come out instead of just buying them and and one solicitation every month and whatnot. That way I can get a better encompassing understanding of what's going on.
Yeah,
Even though Venom under Donny Cates is really good.
really.
Really good. Because they
So
actually flushed the backstory with the symbiotes. Carnage is back.
I have heard that. I've heard that. Yeah.
And then, spoilers, Eddie has a kid. And come to find out, Eddie never had cancer this whole time. It was the Venom symbiote manipulating his body into thinking that he had cancer, and the symbiote was the only reason keeping the cancer at bay, just to keep Eddie in a Stockholm syndrome.
Wait, wait a second.
Uh huh.
So he was falsifying the dependency for the symbiote.
Mm hmm. Mm hmm.
I mean,
And this is after Peter got rid of the symbiote.
now would this be like could this be like withdrawal though, and not necessarily
No, because the symbiote has full, pretty much metabolic control over its host and whatnot.
even after removal?
No,
Okay, so you said Peter
I,
got rid of
I,
him.
yeah, Peter got rid of it, and when it latched on to Eddie,
Yep.
like the symbiote needed a host and whatnot, so it
Oh,
falsified the. Yeah,
so now I thought maybe
it,
I'm getting this wrong.
yeah.
I thought Eddie. Okay, you're right because Eddie wasn't sick before the symbiote. So okay,
Which
that
kind of doesn't make sense. The whole what they were doing with anti venom and stuff like that. That God, I'm glad that was over. But
another case of we're gonna do what we want, guys. that's
hmm
that's what that is.
hmm
I mean,
But even now, in the latest issue of Absolute Carnage, Peter and was talking to Eddie, and Eddie they're reunited again because there was like about maybe like 4 or 5 issues where they were kind of separated because Eddie found out,
mhm.
and Eddie, the symbiote even wrote off the concept of the chick from the movie, Anne or whatever, his wife and whatnot. Eddie was
From the
married.
Venom movie,
Yeah,
Michelle, what her name is?
yeah.
Yep.
Apparently, his they were married and whatnot in the comics before she died and whatnot. But come to find out, Eddie went to go see his father or something like that, and this is how that aspect of the story started breaking down. all of a sudden his cousin Dylan is there, and his father's just like alluding to, yeah, that's not your cousin Eddie. And whatnot, because Eddie's father was like really abusive,
Mm-hmm.
and come to find out, that's not Eddie's cousin; it's his kid.
Oh, okay.
So the symbiote's just like, yeah, been messing with his mind and his memories and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they get into a big, huge fight, and the symbiote's just like, I did it because I was scared because I needed you and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's why he's been, messing with his life like that.
So this is where comic books are comic books, right? You have to suspend your disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, if he has full control at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and he has access to memories and it can alter memories, he can continue doing this, and Eddie would be none the wiser.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
But Donny Cates is, like I said, an awesome writer. I was just like reading it, I was like, God damn, this is good. They even tied the origin of the symbiotes back to like Thor and the Necro Sword and Null and stuff like that, which is like the god of you'll have to read it. I suggest you go and start reading Venom because it's really good.
I'll have to do that. Put that in my pull list.
But the last issue of Absolute Carnage, not to give too much of that away, but even still, with the symbiote not being crazy anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole juxtaposition on Eddie's feelings towards Peter, and the symbiote's feelings towards Peter,
Mm-hmm.
they got into a conversation. The symbiote's just like, yeah, tell Peter it's not his fault and stuff like that. So the symbiote still, I want to say, is in love with Peter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Well, isn't that the whole point of Venom looking like Spider-Man? Is that he
Mm-hmm.
wants to go back to Spider-Man essentially?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the symbiote's first love, or the first best friend, I should say.
Well, that was his first host.
Second host, if you want to go to like Deadpool's Secret Wars.
I don't count Deadpool as continuity. Anything Deadpool does is always kind of just outside the edge. He's already breaking the fourth wall anyway, so he's just kind of skimming that wall there.
Yeah. Well, they try to explain it was Deadpool's craziness that made the symbiote become aggressive and stuff like that when Spider-Man was wearing it. And it wasn't until Flash Thompson went off with the Guardians during Venom Space Night or whatever. He went back to the home world and they got the symbiotes fixed or whatnot. Because the symbiotes were supposed to be like galactic protectors or something like that. And then, as you'll see with the first few
issues of that.
Issues of Venom under Donny Cates, there's some darker secrets going on at play. But
I'll have to check it out.
You definitely have to check it out.
Let's see. I mean, I don't know if you want to move on. We've been kind of jumping around, but
let's get back to DC because obviously I sent you those two trailers right there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Deathstroke, I see the look. It's the old man Deathstroke look.
Mm-hmm.
All right, like out of costume. I've seen this guy before. I feel like, but I can't.
He's definitely not the Deathstroke from Arrow.
No, he's not. Is Deathstroke? I can't remember. Every time I hear Deathstroke, he's like the one from Arrow. He's Australian or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But normally Deathstroke, I don't think is Australian. I think he's normally, like, if anything, British or American. Like he has that American accent or a British accent, but never.
He's anti-hero or villain version of Captain America, technically, because with the whole experiment.
The super serum or whatever it is.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, like you said, like we just said, there's always a parallel somewhere. I guess he's probably closer to. No, because he wasn't brainwashed. I was gonna say he's closer to Winter Soldier, but no, not really. If anyone is closer to Winter Soldier, I guess it would be Kara.
He's a willing participant.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it wasn't for that one standalone Deathstroke comic, was it what was the name of the comic? It was something Contract. Judas Contract?
Yeah, Judas Contract.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that one like gave him the whole backstory, and you're like, he's not a bad guy, but he is like he's just what I mean. Like they gave him the whole anti-hero thing. Most times when you saw him in like a mainstream, we'll say
Teen
like Teen
Titans.
Titans,
Yeah.
he was straight up villain. There was no
Yeah.
redeeming Deathstroke from there.
I like that
Even
Deathstroke. Yeah, that Deathstroke from Teen Titans was very smooth and very.
what did
He
it
was
though?
a good villain.
What's the name from Hellboy? That's
Hmm.
what made it. His the voice from I can't remember that guy's name, but he was the original Hellboy from the movies.
Oh,
That
okay,
guy.
gotcha. It
He
was
played.
it David Arbor?
Is that his name?
Is there another Hellboy? A different Hellboy? Because I know David Arbor is the one that
So
plays him now.
no. So there was Hellboys before the most recent Hellboy.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That guy. I don't know. I can't remember. Let's see. Hellboy, and I think it was like some kind of Hellboy 2 back in 2004. I mean, this guy's name probably isn't really necessary, but Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman did the voice of Slade in Teen Titans, and that was probably the best choice for that kind of Slade. It was just the manipulating, like it just super smooth, like you said.
Right.
Um, but I think, like I said, Judas Contract was probably the only time that it redeemed him in terms of like this is a character who, he was slightly redeemed, I should say, not like really, but it gave him more to that story than just random villain.
Yeah, and his wife is the one that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean,
He's a guy that had one dysfunctional family.
you shared this clip though for the reason where I was talking about. Let's see. So yeah, his robotic eye is over the dead eye.
I
So
guess.
so if anything, you could think of it as there's extra data like battlefield data probably being streamed in.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they probably replaced his real eye with a robotic eye. And probably keeps it patched up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
Or
give them that one.
or it's other sensor data that's being fed into the helmet.
Hmm.
Maybe. But the costume doesn't look too bad. I remember
It's.
the leaked footage
Hmm.
looked a lot worse than what I'm seeing final product. And that tends to be the case with anything leaked from like movies or TV shows. There's some added effects get added onto it, like even during the Flash, like Barry's suit.
Yeah.
It's like a random like cosplayer until it gets into the editing and they kind of flush everything out. Even Godspeed's, because those helmets that they put him in,
Hmm.
they either have a zipper in the back that obviously gets photoshopped out for the real scene, or it's completely open back so they can pull it off for effect.
Yeah.
And it's not the case normally.
Yeah. Good old Godspeed on Flash.
Yeah. Should we talk about this the DC premieres? It was last week, right? Everything premiered?
I didn't see too many of them, but I'll let you take. Have you seen it?
I've seen all of them.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll be the guest, and you'll be the one
I mean,
serving up the food on this one.
I mean, so let's go in order, I guess. There was the Batwoman premiere. Batwoman premiere. What can I say? Actually, I can't go too positive or too negative on that show. I
You
like Ruby.
can or you won't. You
No,
can't or you won't.
I can't because there are good aspects and bad aspects, but even the bad ones,
Hmm.
I think I can see what they're doing and the reasoning for it. This is 100% poised as the Arrow replacement. I can't figure out any other way, but it's the Arrow replacement. In terms of
Another character that's Batman, but not Batman.
yeah, so at least this one's like owning up to the fact that it's Batman. You know, they it's a lot of it kind of feels like when you'd have your natural time jump in a show, like a superhero show, and then you go like 10 years later, these are the kids of all these people. It sort of feels like that at times. So like what's the name, Fox? The imagine this is the 10 years later to Dark Knight, when the sorry, the third in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
What was, I can't remember the name of that. Was it Rises?
Dark Knight Rises, yeah, the one
Yes.
with Bane.
Yes.
I wondered if what would break
S-
first.
So 100%, I feel like this is 10 years later after that. Because the way they even do it is, we all know that this is Batman's cousin. The character that they're playing, was it Kate
Mm-hmm.
Cassidy or something like that?
Yeah, Kate Kane.
Yeah, Kate Kane.
Kate
Uh,
Cassidy is the actress that was
oh,
Laurel.
yes, yes. Um, they obviously put that in. The villain is her sister that was supposedly dead. I mean, okay, yep. Um, what was it, Lucius Fox? Is that the inventor?
He's the guy that runs. That's part of the R&D department. He's
Yes.
also the son, the father of.
Batwing? Yes.
Yes, which I
So
have something to
100%,
say about Batwing.
100% that's coming. It's one of those things where you can foreshadow it. The son is the R&D guy here, which if you know that son normally becomes Batwing, you can see that there's going to be some kind of thing where they might need a rescue.
There's some interesting rumors involving Luke Fox, though, that's coming up actually in the comics, from what I've been hearing, coming up maybe like 2021.
Oh, really? That far ahead, huh?
Uh-huh. I've been hearing rumors that we potentially are going to get a black Batman. Mm-hmm.
I don't, unless there's like they start taking all the Robins out of commission, because isn't that how it works? You
But you
hear me out.
forget, Dan DiDio hates legacy characters, so he's not gonna give it to Dick Grayson.
So here's the thing.
Not my character that just got sniped in the head
They
just
did though.
because.
Didn't they give it to him temporarily?
Yeah, back
Yeah,
when.
back when Batman was missing.
Yeah, it was like
Yes.
I'm lost in time.
So this is what I'm saying. You have Dick, who I guess now that he's shot in the head, he is
No,
now.
he's they came out and said Dick will be returning soon as Nightwing. As this Tom King just for his story. It's like, oh yeah, I love Nightwing. That's why I sniped him in the head for the, for my story, my 100 issue story that's got cut down to 85 issues.
Um, I
But
mean,
yeah,
well, like I said, let me say that Batwoman shows signs of this is stage one Batwoman. They're probably going to take a couple episodes to get to full fledged, just like how Arrow took 5 seasons to get to full fledged Arrow.
you mean full fledged Batman with a bow?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yep. But it's like they have everything in place to be the Arrow replacement. For
Right.
obviously this is the last season of Arrow.
Her suit looks good though.
Um, that's where I'm getting at. So episode one, obviously she doesn't know who Batman is. She's not Batwoman yet. Right now, she's wearing modified suit, Batman suit, which I don't know how these people can make costumes in a minute that just goes, oh, you know what, we're gonna alter this to fit someone who's half the size of Batman. 100%. Whatever. Suspend your disbelief, right?
Or they took like concept and made another model and took like pieces of his other suit to.
Aaron, it was literally like, we have a crisis going on. I'm going to need this suit. Can you make any changes? Crisis is still going on. Maybe 15 minutes went by. She is outfitted in the suit, which is the old suit, but just redone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So let me ask you this: did they had some kind of 3D printer that Tony Stark or Spider-Man used?
So here's the thing. It almost seems like this is the backup Batcave, not the main Batcave. So I'm going to say no. Because this is so it looks like Wayne Tower Bruce's office, what would be Bruce's office, is the entrance to this miniature Batcave. So which what I would assume would be just his off in case he's on that side of town, that Batcave, right?
Yeah, he has storage houses, or
Yes.
yeah.
So it almost seems like just like how in Arrow they had the little shack that they used in season 1 and then slowly upgraded. That's what we're gonna end up getting is, oh, she's in the Batcave. Sorry, this safe house of a Batcave moves on to the next one.
Oh, so the safe house is going to be potentially a character within itself that's going to periodically gain more personality and gain up.
It sounds familiar, right? It sounds like the bunker from Arrow. I'm just saying. There's a lot of similarities I can pull between these. And I don't know. There's a lot of, just like any CW show, there's 100 threads going on at the same time. There's the conflict between her and her dad, the conflict between, I guess, her ex-love interest.
Pretty much it's the CW formula for every TV show since Smallville.
Yes. I mean, take it from where you will. It's a formula that works, I guess, for TV or for their audience.
Targeted audience, yeah.
Yes. And they target all audiences. We know what that means. We target all audiences. So the Batgirl premiere, I guess, it's definitely a 2-parter episode. It feels like.
Now, did you see Bruce at all?
No Bruce. No, there's mention of him when she found out, but that's about it. Just that he's been missing for 3 years at this point, which sounds like what? Although they buried him in Rises, didn't they? I'm telling you right now.
But the show's not supposed to take place with Nolan's version of Batman, is it?
No, I know it's not supposed to. Shot for shot, though, outside of Wayne Manor, is the streets of Gotham from the Nolan movies. So they might not be directly related, but stylized-wise, they're related.
Can I just pause? Speaking of Nolan, last Batman movie, Rises, even for Bruce to fake his death and be over in Italy sipping champagne and hanging out with Selena, who in the hell doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is?
Remember, he was a recluse. He was a recluse before and after his return.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So, I mean, like, also, the only thing I could think of is in that movie they also mentioned the whole erasing identity and history and all that jazz. Is that he could have made a brand new identity with, it's Batman. Let's be honest. It's Batman.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that one. Let's go back to CW.
There's people who look similar all the time. But yeah, so Batwoman's premiere was all right. I'd probably give it, if I'm really gonna rate these ones, I'll give it between a 3 and a 4 on a 5-point scale. It was enough for me to continue watching it. That three episode thing, unfortunately, it also falls into the, am I watching this because it's part of a continuity, or am I watching it because I want to watch it? Because I know that Crisis is going to cross over with all of this. Am I watching it just because I know it's going to happen? Like the same reason I watch Black Lightning.
You're watching it because it's a plot thread. God damn, I forgot Black Lightning was the thing. All right.
So Black Lightning. Aaron, I might have black skin, but I hate to be force-fed all the black stereotypes. And Black Lightning force-feeds all the black stereotypes. All of them. I get what they're trying to do. It's just sometimes I'm like, really? Is this what we're going to do, guys? Yeah. It reminds me of like Blackish, but DC. Like comic book related. Although I would say you might like it.
I've seen a few episodes of it.
If you can overlook the overused hip hop, all the stereotypes, all the free man, it's Freeland. Literally, I can't. I just can't. I never read any of the Black Lightning comics. The only relationship with Black Lightning that I have is watching Static Shock and watching him meet Black Lightning in the 2 episodes, and that's it. Also, Young
Young
Justice,
Justice. Okay, we'll get to
which
that
is
in a
which is the superior version of Black Lightning so far.
dude. Superior. You're talking about if a man was black. No, you know what? Let me just stop.
Listen,
Yeah, it's
the,
way superior. Way
also
superior.
it doesn't help that Young Justice is using Cyborg's voice actor to do Black Lightning, and then they're
Carrie Payton.
interacting with each. Yes, that was a Carl something. I can't remember his name
Carrie
is.
Payton is
Carrie,
his name.
is it Carrie Payton?
I know his last name is Payton. I think it's Carrie or something. Let me look this up because
All I know
he's
is
a very good voice actor.
all I know is that it's one of those funny things where you watch them interact with who they should be, and you're like, oh, that's right, Cyborg isn't played by him.
Hmm. But I like his involvement. I mean, yeah, it's Carrie Payton. Khary Payton. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I think we might have to cut this shorter. Damn, we're getting good.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll finish up this then. Black Lightning. I've watched all of this season, so I think this is season 3. I think. Yeah, so this is season 3, and it's interesting so far. I see. I don't see where they're going with it, and I don't mean that in like a bad way. I mean like I'm not predicting like, oh, this is clearly going to happen, and just kind of waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a good thing.
It's kind of like stuff is just happening instead of just having a set course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of see some threads that they're pulling on. I just don't know where those are going, like right now. And like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's a mystery to me at least, so I'm involved in that sense.
Mhm.
And what happens like between you and I, when we know the storylines, we see the thread kind of going. We're like, oh, clearly it's one of these two things are gonna happen, and then we're not surprised when it does happen.
Mhm.
I think Flash tries to do that. Flash tries. They try
Oh,
to.
you mean like season 3? How was this called? It's like, it's what about the 4th episode in? Me and you were on the podcast talking about it. And it was just like, yeah, this is totally not Blue Evil Flash from an alternate timeline. Sure.
Wasn't there like a thing that they like outright said like, hey, is this just Flash from the future or another timeline? No, it's not. And then they go, surprise, it's Flash.
Oh, and the next day, that next Monday after the big reveal of who Savitar is, I was just like, Nate, what did I tell you?
Mhm.
You just like, see, I didn't want to ruin it for myself, but yeah, you right,
Yeah.
right.
Oh, it's 100% good. Like we unfortunately know, and that's why I kind of like what MCU is doing in terms of like they know that the people who watch these closely know what's going to happen next. So they try to go, we're going to try and do this instead. You know what? Next if we do this again, we will talk about the MCU, specifically MCU, because
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about the new Spider-Man and the status quo where they left that movie off.
yeah.
I have a bittersweet taste in my mouth with that mid-credit scene.
I mean, listen, that mid-credit scene, there's a lot of things that covers in the comic that they're 100% not doing it in the movies. So
Hmm.
that's where I'm interested to see how they're gonna walk
Oh,
this
like my
back
name is MJ.
or go forward. Like, yes. Can I tell you that was no? They didn't say MJ. They said my name's Michelle, and you're like
Yeah, but my friends
Michelle.
call me MJ.
Yep. Do you remember when they?
I
That's
gave
another.
the loudest face palm in the movie theater, and people were actually looking back at me just like,
With you, I 100% believe that.
my
With you,
face actually hurt.
there's probably red marks too.
There was. Zendaya does a good job though. For a totally different take on a love interest that we haven't seen for Peter before. That's as much of a socially awkward person as Peter is. It's cute. It's
So
cute.
did you hear the rumors? I mean, I know we were gonna talk about this next time. I'm gonna leave on this though. Did you hear the rumor supposedly that in the deal that they struck, where it's like Spider-Man can cameo in one other movie? I think it was like one other movie and then his own movie. That was the deal for now. They're thinking that because there's no Avenger movie scheduled in, what was it, Phase 4 now? There's no Avengers movie scheduled in there.
Mm-hmm.
That his guest appearance will be in Doctor Strange, dealing with the multiverse, which then he gets written out of the MCU because he's in another multiverse. That is the theory, or should I say, one of the theories behind his guest star.
Well, he's back in the MCU now, so
He's back in the MCU on a probation essentially. So they're doing a per movie, like they renew the contract after this contract, which is I think one movie, one guest star.
Because I know they're doing something with the multiverse and him eventually meeting up with Venom. So eventually we will get Tom Holland in a black symbiote costume.
Yeah, I know. We need some kind of sign off on this. I don't know, some like.
Besides the phone ringing.
Yeah, besides the phone ringing. Stay frosty.
Yeah, stay frosty, everybody. Drink your milk. Drink your school. Stay in milk.
Maybe it's just gonna be cheesy taglines at the end of every episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but we should definitely do this more. This is good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let us know how it is. We'll review it. All this other jazz. Like I said, maybe we might even spin this off, depending on how it is. Or we'll do special.
Oh wait, we can be like an Elseworlds version of our standard podcast with Joe and Albert.
I can't. We're gonna call this College Cheese at Elseworlds. Huh. That's not bad. All right. See ya.
Later, everybody.
If I can find out how to end this. Goddamn Skype.
Worst outro ever.